thought I'd just show you a little bit about detailing. So this is quite a big thing in maps that a lot of people like to see. This is a prefab that I've removed the detail from this. This is one of the buildings in Dries, the giant. It's had all the snow removed and all of the decals removed. And I just thought I'd show you how much better it looks when you actually put decals and use models and stuff to make your map look 100 times better. So over here we have the one which has got quite a bit of difference. So on top of the brush layer, we do have a very thin decal that just adds a lot more age and character to the buildings or whatever you seem to be working with. And you can't really see it because of the shadows. I died. Okay, so you can see that it has a lot more character. We've got models used on the edges to just make it feel a bit more real. We've got patches that are used to add a bit more character on the edges here. It's fake snow, using models to make it look like they've boarded up the windows, icicles to show, water dripping off. All the tiny little things build up and make it look so much cooler. So let's put some light on. We're just gonna see a bit more of what they've done. Here you would have a decal that just goes over the snow, and if we go look at this one, you'll see it's just a simple texture that they're using. And then to go over the top, you can have all sorts of things, make it look dirty, make it look like there's blood on it, or in this case, make it look like it's frosted over. There are loads of things you can do, and you can even customize it and make something of your own. And yeah, the best maps out there really put time into making everything just look that bit better. I really encourage people to watch the tutorials that I'm going to be bringing out on how to just make something go from simple brushes and textures into something that looks like marvelous. Anyhow, I'm going to jump into Radiant and show you a little more. Cool. Okay, so we are in Radiant now, and you can see this prefab that has been stamped. And you'll see that this is a brush that has a texture applied to it, and we can see the texture by right clicking. You can see that it's brick worn heavy grout red, and if we actually go over to this one, you see that we've clicked on it and it's selected a patch. And if we select the brush behind it, we're going to do right click and select the brush behind it as well, and we bring them into their own universe, which is Shift Alt H. That shows it here. You'll actually see that this wall and the decal are on the same line. So the wall has depth, but the decal in front of it is on the same line. And back in World at War, you would avoid doing that with decals because it would glitch out and you'd get that double texture thing. But Black Ops 3 Radiant, make sure that it's a decal that you're working with. So this one here, if we right click, decal snow bricks heavy grout, and if we press T, and we'll type that in, so you can see that it's this that we've used here. And if we move that around, you can see it's just a nice layer to add over the top. So what I suggest is, let's say you've made a building. I'm going to quickly make something here. This is not a proper building, but say you've made a building, and I'm going to press T. Oh, we've got T open, so I'm going to add some brick, maybe this one, and you just want to make it look cool. You can create a brush in front of it. So I'm going to create a little brush in front of it like that, and we're going to look at it from this view and do patch, terrain, simple terrain patch, and you only really need to do it like that. Then what we can do is go down and hold Alt to drag it over the top, and we're going to put it there. And if we move around, it should glitch out a bit because we're actually using a normal texture. But what we're going to use is a decal on there. So we can go to all, and you can either type in decal here, or you can go to material type and set that to a decal layer. This one, for example, not changing yet. Okay. We need to press Control I there because it was inverted. You might find that it might not show because the texture is 180 degrees the other way around. You can press Control I to flip the texture on a patch. Okay, so there is another way, which is even faster, to add decals to this face of this brush. What you can do is use Shift Control and select just this side of the brush, then go to Patch, Terrain, and click on Faces to Terrain. What that's just done is it's created a single face and already lined it up in front of that brush. And doing this is a much faster way of doing it. And we've selected this one, for example. and you can see it's quite small. So we've got two options here. We can drag it down to about here and press S and do natural, and we want to actually flip that 180 degrees there. So it looks like it's just been dirtied from the ground up. And when you add that to buildings and you want to add it to the top maybe, or add something else on the top, we're going to select the decal there. And what we can do is bring it up to the top there. And you want to have accuracy in lining it up. You see how it doesn't quite reach and it's going halfway? You can actually use Control G. So we're going to select all of these and do Control G so that they're all in the same grid. Right click, and we're going to select that decal, and we can either flip that 180 degrees, but it kind of looks weird because they're the same now, so you just want to play around with them. If you haven't got any experience working with decals, you might want to go into the prefabs and go have a look and see how Treyarch have done it. Yeah, we've got this decal selected. We can go down and have a look at some more that we can add to it. So maybe let's change this to a decal. What we can do is see what class this is, lit decal, and we want more lit decals. So go down, lit decal, and let's see, we've got some rust looking stuff here, or maybe this soot sort of look here, and then we want to press S and go and change it here. So natural, what's going on there, we can see that it's all made round, so we want to put that rotation back there, maybe stretch it so that it's a bit wider like that, and maybe hold Alt and use the right mouse button to drag it around until it lines up like that, then escape, and yeah, it looks like it's a bit weathered. And you can actually use more than one decal on the same place. So if we spacebar it and put it back, we've now got two there. We could stretch this one a bit like so, maybe make it a bit longer like that, and just adjust the stretch like this. Now we've got two decals on there and they'll both show. You can use all sorts of decals. So say you've got that one, what we can do is make another decal on this. So we're just going to replicate it, put it back in its space, and then perhaps we'll go look at some blood and add in some blood on there. So this is a hand mark, we could probably make it a bit smaller like this, press S, maybe set, and there we go. It looks like, you know, some blood has been sprayed on that wall. Where there's blood, there will be more blood, so you might want to have some blood on the floor, or just the reason that there's blood there. So I know, a body that's been mutilated or something, just not have a random blood in places. But as you add more and more, you can really start to add character to places instead of them looking just blank. And when you spend the time to make the place more detailed, then yeah, it just looks a million times better. So the other thing is, you got to think like realistically. Why would they be dirt on the floor here? You know, then you got to add more dirt to the other places. Or if it would be a really clean place, like a lab or something that's kept clean, then perhaps you want it clean, but then have models of cleaning things around and stuff like that. And you got to think logically. So if this place isn't clean, then you might want to have other things to support it. So detail isn't just about adding decals, it's about modeling as well, and making everything feel much more fulfilled. So if we go to rubbish, I don't think they could call it rubbish. It's some okay, so let's try trash, and we've found some trash and stuff, and it's all the little things. So around rubbish like this, yeah. The next thing is you might want to have some dirt and grit that's built up around here. So you can actually create a patch here, and we'll just make it to the there and do patch terrain, simple terrain patch, and we'll go the width, probably not that wide, so like 4, and then height will be like 12 or something. Okay, then we want to bring it to the floor, and we want to put it at the ground height. So that's the ground height. Then give it a, oh, we need to change that materials height back. Dun, 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 dun. So here we have picked some dirt, maybe some other dirt. Then press Y and paint height. We need to bring that right down. Okay, amplitude is a little too high there. Okay, so, and then we press S, natural. and you see that there is dirt against the wall. So you might want to change the texture so that it better fits, or perhaps what we can do is just make it a little darker so that it blends in a bit better. And you'll start to make it seem like there's always been rubbish, or maybe it's a busy high street and all of the exhaust gases over time, over 100 years or whatever, have made the house dirty. Maybe where you have an air vent on the side, you want to have it looking like it's weathered the bricks. Maybe there's a gutter and you have it broken, and then you have stain from where all the limescale and the water has slowly rotted away the wall, or whatever it is. And all those little things that make a house look old and degraded, you just want to add those in so it doesn't feel like every house in your map is brand new, perfect, because it shouldn't be. Especially when there's zombies, there's a stereotypical view that everything sort of has been some time, and where there's time there's going to be weathering, and especially weathering in this form as well. You know, if you have a snowy map, then you're going to want to have snow on the places. And if we actually look at this, you see that they've just used patches there and then used the snow powder texture, and that's all it is. You know, if we remove these, you'll see it's just brushes and terrain patches. That look, this bit of snow here is literally just a terrain patch that has been bent around, and you just need to give it some time, and before you know it, you'll have some really cool looking stuff. Like, this is a really quick example, but you put more time into it, like you might want to put at least half hour into making a decent wall, and you'll come out with something that looks amazing. To use models, like here we got these brick models, and we got a really cool model here where it looks like the wall has been pushed in there. That's a cool little effect. So use models, use decals, and the other thing you can use is a volume decal. So if we go to the entity browser, you can get the right click and go to entity browser, and then MISC, and then we want to add volume decal. I want to deselect anything you got and drag in a volume decal, and I'm going to look from above. You see there is an arrow on there, and you actually want that pointing away from the object that you want it on. So we're going to rotate that 180 degrees. So I did grid size 4, pressed R and rotated it, and now that's 180 degrees. It's not touching the wall, so we want it touching the wall, and you'll see that there's the default own texture on there, and we need to give it a decal once again, so all decals, and there is a dirt effect there. We can press S and do set, and we can use these handles to make it bigger. So we can use the blue one to go out, the green one to go out, and the red one to, sorry, that did the axes handle. We want that one there. That will change the distance that's affected. So we see that that's on the wall now, and that's great for when you have a model. And we're just going to cheat and use a brush. Say that there's a chimney that is on the side of the building and it goes up. Then for the decal down here, you're going to want to include that on this, or you could start using volume decals, which, as you can see, will affect it. And you see that it's not affecting that side, but what we can do, you have one like this, and then you might want to have one that is like that, and then 180 degrees that way. Is it gonna let me snap into that position? Will we ever find out? Right, come on. Right, size smaller, there we go. Had to go to grid 3 there to get that on there. But if I go back now, you'll see that that has successfully gone round the chimney, and it looks like there's a load of dirt there. We might even want that to go down to the ground maybe, or you can bring that right down and make it look like it, I don't know, there's some dirt there for some reason. Maybe it's the dirt on the floor here, but there we go. And you just add and add and add, and before you know it, it's looking great. So that's the first one. I just thought I'd give you an overview on some detailing, and yeah, that's it for now. The next video I'll bring out, I'll go into a bit more detail. So yeah, just work with some volume decals and use the decals on the brushes, and use some models to accurately fit what's going on, and before you know it, you'll have something looking really cool. And if you have any questions on how things work, the best thing to do is just go on Google Images and type in whatever you're making. So old building, and look at some walls, see what sort of weathering they have and what people should expect to see in a game, because the best way of modeling something is to look at how it happens in real life and then to replicate it. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this has helped you out. Sorry if this has been a long video. Write a comment if you have any comments below, and subscribe to stay tuned for more. I hope you have a great day, and see you on the next one. Bye.